Basically, every year they have training courses, and those with different levels, and you become tip check engineer once you have done those certification. So the program has been running for over 10 years. So you would see here, for example, the areas where the report would help to map out the savings measures. The auditors would check the thermal conductivity, the insulation thickness, where thermal bridges are appearing, or the emissivity of the cladding. So what we see is that over 10 years, in average, the annual energy savings were between 200,000 and 400,000 megawatt, and this is reducing the production cost of around 7 million euro for the tip check clients, with paybacks, as I've mentioned, of 1 to 2 years and sometimes less. It is also so it's very visible, practical, and it's also a standardized process. And so they're working with standard EN16247, and the organization, the foundation of EIIF is also in itself working on standardization, for example, for energy efficiency classes for technical insulation. We expect a standard from the European institutions in May next year. It is also strongly linked with the standard in Germany, VDI, I think 4610. I'll check the details for you if you're interested. So this standardization dimension is also very important to when it comes to mainstreaming and accelerating the uptake. And maybe another thing is that it's relatively non-intrusive, both the evaluation but also the deployment of the measures. So you see here the total amount of savings in the past 10 years, which is negligible in terms of emission reduction, 1 million ton of CO2 equivalents. So that was for a technical insulation. Because it is a process of support of the end user and accompanying what's happening on the ground, I could not help not speaking about buildings. Also because we've been following a lot the finalization of the European Buildings Directive, the famous EPBD, and there as well. So you can see here, yes, the picture from the negotiators last week. And the EPBD will help to accelerate building renovation, not only with new regulatory requirements, but also with support tools, with finance, with one-stop shops, but also crucially building renovation passport, which is, to me, in a way, we can draw the parallel with how the tip check is working to guide stepwise renovation work to simplify the administrative procedure and create ownership for the program. So what we see here is that the passport can really help, especially in overcoming some of the elements that we see, challenges that we see in building renovation, which is that ideally there should be deep and holistic, but de facto the subsidies are very often targeted at one measure, which leads to sometimes inadequation between what people do and what the holistic picture on the buildings could require. So we see, for example, heat pumping installed in F or G class buildings that can cause challenges for the functioning of the whole, but also for cost and comfort. And we also see that in spite of having embraced the energy efficiency first principle, there are some, let's say, loopholes in the way it works in terms of, for example, people not really being aware of the energy needs, the very energy needs of the building. So yes, there is, we will be very busy with supporting the implementation of this EPBD, supporting the building renovation passport. There are many good examples across Europe already. articulate also in getting engaged in this articulation of demand reduction potential with the calibration of the systems. And yes, also working with those having evolved concept related to low temperature ready buildings and also the systemic dimension. And this is actually very important, these systemic dimensions, as our grids get electrified. And we know that energy efficiency helps to manage the seasonal peak demand. We want to know exactly what's the level of interaction. So there is the beginning of, well, a study has been launched in Brussels with our partner EMAK and the European Copper Institute to look a bit deeper into this and to quantify the energy efficiency benefits for the bills, for the energy system, in order to really get that big picture that we hope will be made available, for example, to governments in drafting their national energy and climate plans. What's the potential for reducing energy demands, and what's the level, well, how much do we need in terms of renewable energy? So yes, that was the little opening towards the buildings, segment. So just maybe a few takeaway that we see, I mean, bridging this gap again between policy and the uptake of energy efficiency on the ground. There is still a lot of work on the energy efficiency first principle to make it much more concrete. We see both in industry and in buildings the need for accompanying the uptake of energy efficiency solutions. So programs such as tip check in the industry sector, building renovation passports, and other services in the residential segment, for example. And then to elevate the topic, we need to a broader understanding and of these systemic benefits of energy efficiency as a support to a cheaper and more flexible energy and climate transition. Thank you very much.